Kirishima? Hey! You with the face! No response. Go figure. You let out a small sigh as you once again tried to pull the many blankets off of your sleeping fiancé. You had a big day today, and no matter what you did, he refused to wake up. You grunted while giving another forceful tug. The blankets came loose and you yelped, losing your balance before landing on your back. Grinning victoriously, you sat up and watched as the figure on the bed began to stir. The redhead groaned and rolled over to look at you with a confused expression. His face broke out in a wide smile before he chuckled.
Good morning, babe. Why are you on the floor?
If only you knew, you replied with annoyance laced in your voice. You stood up and threw the blankets at his face. A small oof could be heard from the boy as you walked out of the room. Better hurry up, Kiri. They're gonna be here any minute. Today was the day Izuku and Ochako's anniversary, and they were going to drop off their 7-month-old son, Izumi. It would be the first time you or Kiri had watched Izumi without his parents around. While you were pretty calm about babysitting, Kirishima was a nervous wreck. He knew it could be hard to take care of a baby, yet he was still worried something would go wrong. Despite all of your efforts to comfort him, he still cringes at the idea of a child screaming. Just as your beloved came down the stairs, there was a loud knock at the door. You squealed in excitement and rushed over to open it. You smiled widely when you saw none other than Izuku and Ochako standing on the porch, a young Izumi babbling in his father's arms. You stepped aside to let them in. Ochako sighed tiredly and placed the diaper bag on the dinner table. She turned to you and smiled. We really appreciate you guys watching him. We won't be gone for too long. Maybe get some brunch and go to the movies. If we had enough time, maybe we're gonna go do some shopping for the house. If you guys don't mind, that is. Oh, it's no problem at all. Take your time. Kiri and I don't mind. Right, babe? You looked over to your significant other to see him holding Izumi with a nervous look on his face, and amused Izuku close by. Yeah, no problem here. You nervously watched him as he answered. Why are you yelling? Don't mind him, Ochako. He's just a big baby. I'm not worried about it. Izuku was the same way. He'll get used to it in no time. She grinned, remembering her husband was the exact same way. Anyway, he ate a few hours ago, so he should be ready to eat soon. I packed extra clothing just in case, and he has toys in there as well. You nodded your head in understanding, mentally preparing yourself for the day. The couple eventually departed and went on their plans to celebrate this special day. After shutting the door, you turned to see Izumi curiously pulling at the crimson, spiky hair that Kirishima took precise care of. Kirishima grunted as Izumi tugged at a large chunk of his hair. Listener, a little help, please? You chuckled and went to the blue diaper bag in the dining room. Searching the bag, you found an item you were looking for. A green and white rattle grabbed the attention of the 7-month-old, who promptly let go of Kirishima's hair and reached for the noisy toy. The redhead sighed in relief, now that his hair was no longer being ripped out of his head. You gently took Izumi out of his arms and began to twirl around the room. Excitedly, a high-pitched giggle came out of the boy. You stopped moving, admiring the little features that the little baby had in your arms. He had the same curly, dark green/black hair of his father and inherited the deep brown eyes of his mother. He had his father's smile, and freckles spotted his cheeks. You smiled, wondering what kind of quirk he was going to have. Izumi's face began to contort into a pout before tears built up in his eyes. He sniffled before letting out a loud wail. You immediately began bouncing him on your hip while looking at Kirishima, who looked back at you with an equally confused face. You thought for a moment before an idea came into your head. You remembered that Ochako said he might be getting hungry soon. So you went straight to the diaper bag that still rested on the dining table. Kirishima followed close behind. You held a crying Izumi in one arm as you searched through the bag looking for his baby food with the other.
Here, babe, let me take him,
Kiri said while holding out his arms. Are you sure? I know you're still nervous about this whole thing.
What kind of a man would I be if I can't even take care of a child? Don't worry, I've got this handled. Just do what you have to do.
Your heart swelled as he gingerly took the hiccuping infant away from you. You leaned over and gave him a sweet kiss on the lips. Thank you, Kiri. What would I do without you? You then proceeded to rummage through the bag. You pulled out multiple glass jars of Gerber baby food and oatmeal cereal, looking at the various choices you had to decide from. There was banana strawberry, vegetable turkey, sweet potatoes, peaches, or squash. You decided on the peaches simply because you love peaches, and because you said so. You dug into the bag once more and found a baby bowl and spoon. You popped open the jar and poured its content into the bowl. Next came the oatmeal cereal, which got mixed into the peaches until the consistency was a little thicker. There! It's all mixed up! Kiri, would you mind feeding him while I go to the bathroom? He gulped visibly and slowly nodded his head. Taking the bowl out of your hands, you dashed up to the stairs and towards the bathroom, leaving a nervous Kirishima behind. After finishing your business, you returned to the dining room to see a clearly struggling redhead.
Why won't you eat it?
Kiri said with frustration as Izumi spit out the baby food, like babies normally do. Babe, relax. This is totally normal. Here, let me see. You took the spoon and the baby food away from him and shooed him out of the seat and sat down. You scoop a bit of food into the spoon and brought it to the baby's mouth. He's just learning how to eat, love. You have to be patient. He'll learn. You explained to the frustrated man behind you. You babbled to little Izumi, getting a loud squeal and cute smile in return. You put the spoon in his mouth only for him to spit it out. You caught it with the spoon and stuck it back in his mouth. He finally swallowed it, and you babbled some more and scooped up more food on the spoon. You continued this, not noticing Kiri standing behind you watching the pair intently. He smiled gently, wondering how he got so lucky. A while later, Kirishima had finally got comfortable enough to be around Izumi by himself. You were currently in the kitchen cooking up your dinner while Kiri was playing with Izumi on the floor. You stood at the stove, waiting for the biscuits to finish baking. From the living room, you could hear the loud, boisterous laugh of Kirishima and the exuberant giggles of Izumi. You sighed, thinking about what it would be like to have a family with Kirishima. You had no doubt in your mind that he would make an amazing father. The question was, are you ready to start a family? Smiling gently at the thought, you began to plate your food and serve it on the dinner table. After dinner, it was time for Izumi to leave, his parents waiting patiently for you to say goodbye. You held Izumi in your arms and blew a raspberry on his chubby cheeks, while Kiri simply gave him a pat on the head. When the Midoriya family left, you proceeded to the kitchen to clean up dinner and load the dishwasher. While cleaning the countertop, Kirishima walked up behind you, gave you a big hug, and placed little kisses on your neck. You giggled, but continued to clean. Kiri, if you aren't going to help, you yelped as he whipped you around and picked you up by your waist, placing you on the countertop.
Oh, I'm gonna help alright,
he said, kissing you passionately on the lips. You smiled into the kiss before gently pushing him away. He looked at you confused, with a raised eyebrow and frown on his face. What's gotten into you, babe? Something on your mind? He ran his hands up and down your sides, and his face broke out into a smile.
Nothing. I was just thinking. You know you'd make a great mom, right?
Your face became brushed with a bright pink, many thoughts rushing through your head. He noticed your expression before leaning in and placing a light kiss on your forehead. Where is this coming from all of a sudden? You asked. He swiftly pulled back and gave you a toothy grin.
Listener, I think we should try for a baby. You know, a family of our own.
You were shocked. Not even a few hours ago, he looked like he was about to run out of the house screaming. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to have a kid? But don't you think we're ready for such a responsibility? I mean, financially, we can do it, but we're both pro-heroes. Would it even work out? He rested his foreheads against yours and pulled your body closer to his.
I know we can do it. Besides, with you, I can do anything.
His eyes were so gentle as he interlaced his hands with yours. You crashed your lips onto his, your heart soaring at his words. This man in front of you is your everything, and if he believed you could do it, then it was worth a shot. You pulled away and nuzzled your nose against his. Let's do it! He let out an excited,
Yes!
And you wrapped your legs around his waist. He kissed you passionately once more, making his way to your shared bedroom.